The top stories tonight in Y News. Police are conducting follow-up operations to establish the identity of the person of interest in the killing of broadcaster Percy Lapid Mabasa.
DILG Secretary Benhur Abalos orders police to stop providing security to individuals involved in Philippine offshore gaming operators or Pogo.
The administration of President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. got high approval ratings on its handling of urgent national concerns in the country based on the recent Pulse Asia survey.
Just days after dropping its long-standing mandatory hotel quarantine requirement, Hong Kong confirms plans to give away 500,000 airline tickets.
Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Friday, the 7th of October, 2022. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. I am William Theo.
We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media channels. I am Hardin Delgado.
First in the news, in a major breakthrough, the Philippine National Police confirmed to have developed a person of interest in the killing of radio broadcaster Percival Mabasa, or more popularly known as Percy Lapid. DILG Secretary Benhur Abalos believes the suspect is a professional hitman. Leah Ilagan will tell us why.
Department of Interior and Local Government Secretary Benhur Abalos believes that the Percy Lapid's hitman would be apprehended soon. Secretary Abalos said they have already made the person of interest image public and the reward will now be 1.5 million pesos.
Sa taong itong nasa larawan naman na ito lang masasabi ko. Marami na nakakaalam sa iyo, marami na magsusumbong. Siguro sumuko ka na. Napaka-importante na sumuko ka sapagkat pag-isipan mo, yung mga nag-utos sa iyo, baka may gawing masama sa iyo. Ang pinakamagandang gawin mo, sumuko ka at pabayaan mong mag-take over na ang kapulisan dito.
Given the way the victim was shot, Abalos claimed he thinks the suspect is a professional hitman.
Ito lang masasabi ko. Personally, ito lang opinion ko. Itong tao ito isang professional hitman. As you could see very well through the evidence. Paano siya humabol, 2 bala lang, tapos sa ulo.
Meanwhile, SITG Commander Colonel Restituto Arcangel stated that they were able to get closed-circuit television footage that showed the alleged gunman in front of the Las Piñas City Hall a few minutes prior to the shooting. His cohort, the driver of the motorcycle, was also captured by the dash camera installed in the victim's vehicle.
Yung video na pinakita ko kanina, makikita yung t-shirt niya, yung marking ng t-shirt. Nag-match yan dun sa nakaangkas na nakuha ng dashcam sa likod ng sasakyan ng biktima. Second, before binaril yung biktima.
Meanwhile, NCRPO Chief Brigadier General Junel Estomo gave orders to the 5 police districts in the area to work closely with media figures in their jurisdictions to investigate any threats against them. Leah Ilagan, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Starting tomorrow, the Philippine National Police will no longer provide security personnel to Philippine offshore gaming operators or Pogo officials. Dante Amento tells us why.
DILG Secretary Benhur Abalos Jr. ordered the Philippine National Police to stop providing security for the Philippine offshore gaming operators or Pogo officials. Some senators earlier questioned the security details given to Pogo Chinese nationals. Abalos directed PNP Chief Rodolfo Asurin Jr. to get the names of PSPG members who provide security to the Pogo officers.
kasuhan mo yung dapat kasuhan, hindi pwedeng i-EU yung further, hindi pwedeng pumasok ito. Sa Pilipinas tayo, hindi po pwede yun. Kunin mo mga pangalan nito and of course, sanctions na ibibigay natin, disciplinary ones. Pangalawa, let's stop this practice. Sulatan mo lahat ito.
Meanwhile, the Bureau of Immigration revealed that they may complete the verification of the whereabouts of Chinese Pogo workers who have recently worked for closed Pogo companies this month.
We are confident naman po na within the month makikita na po natin yung breakdown kung alin po ang dito sa number na to, yung nakaalis na po ng bansa and alin po yung mga inaabangan pa po natin that will be leaving and subject po ng order to leave.
After their visas are cancelled, more than 48,000 Pogo workers will be ordered to return to China. The government will issue an immigration order for their deportation if they hesitate, and they will then be barred from entering the country in the future.
It's an order to leave. It's not a request to leave. It's an order to leave po. So they have to do it and comply with it within that set period.
To stop the spread of reported sexually transmitted diseases or STDs among Pogo employees, the DOJ has explained that those Chinese nationals must return to their home country. Dante Amento, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Tomorrow, October 8, will mark President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s first 100 days in office. The president described his key accomplishments as well as some of the difficulties he faced. Nel Maribuhok reports.
During his first 100 days in office, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. believes he has successfully assembled a functional government made up of the best and brightest cabinet members.
I think what we have managed to do in the first 100 days is put together a government which is functional and which has a very, very good idea of what we are targeting in terms of strict economic targets, for example.
President Marcos Jr. expressed his gratitude to the members of his cabinet, especially his economic managers, for their efforts to put plans in place to transform the post-pandemic economy. Additionally, he advised them to make their officials aware of the fact that they are there to govern and aid the nation in recovering from the COVID-19 pandemic. Mentioning different problems in the agriculture sector, the president added that his administration also focused on putting out fires.
Well, I suppose in the first 100 days, actually the first 60 days, maybe 50 days, we were putting out fires. We were just trying to make things work because suddenly the problem, you're all aware, the problem with sugar, the supply, the problem with fertilizer. We were having to look to different what we now refer to as non-traditional sources.
The chief executive reiterated that securing food sufficiency and spurring socio-economic growth are his administration's priority goals. The president also bragged about the benefits of his international travels, claiming that they enabled the Philippines to rekindle its friendship with its allies. During his working visits, several letters of intent and memorandums of understanding in investments were signed. These include investments worth $6.5 billion for Singapore and $8.5 billion from Indonesia. Additionally, investments of about $3.9 billion were made in the United States of America. Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
According to a recent Pulse Asia survey, President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr.'s government received strong approval ratings for its handling of important national issues in the nation. President Marcos's government achieved majority approval ratings on 11 of the 13 subjects evaluated in the statewide poll conducted by Pulse Asia on his 98th day in office. For attending to the needs of disaster-hit communities and halting the spread of COVID-19, the Marcos administration obtained obtained a 78% grade. 69% of respondents supported the Marcos administration's efforts to advance peace in the nation, while 68% valued the measures taken to safeguard the welfare of Filipinos working abroad. The study, however, indicated that the Marcos administration only received a 42% approval rating on the topic of managing inflation and a 39% approval rating on the issue of reducing poverty. The face-to-face poll by Pulse Asia was conducted from September 17 to 21 and was based on a sample of 1,200 persons ages 18 and above.
Meanwhile, the Department of Education's decision to restore face-to-face teaching is regarded as the agency's greatest accomplishment in the first 100 days of the Marcos administration. After more than 2 years of implementing blended learning modes, almost 90% of schools throughout the nation started offering regular in-person sessions in August. According to DepEd spokesperson Michael Poa, they were able to restore in-person teaching in methods that wouldn't jeopardize student safety.
Talagang ang pinakamalaking accomplishment ng Department of Education sa pamumuno ng ating Vice President and Secretary of Education is yung pagbabalik ng learners to our schools, in-person classes. Bakit po? Kasi for the past 2 years, talaga pong maraming hindi nakapag-aral sa ating mga kababayan. So talagang yun ang pinakamalaking accomplishment natin for the first 100 days.
Cheloy Belicaria Garafil announced she has tendered her resignation as chairman of the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board, or LTFRB, to take on the role of officer in charge of President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s Office of the Press Secretary. Garafil, a lawyer and former journalist, served as the LTFRB chairperson for 95 days after she assumed the position last July 4. Being appointed as Marcos's press secretary, according to Garafil, will be a great honor and privilege for her. Meanwhile, LTFRB board member engineer Riza Maripaches is chosen to replace Garafil.
In other news, some lawmakers question the Bureau of Fire Protection for its plan to procure firearms from the savings made from purchasing fire trucks. Harleen Delgado will tell us why.
Several senators want the Bureau of Fire Protection, or BFP, to reconsider its plan of purchasing firearms using the savings from the procurement of fire trucks. In the Senate hearing for the proposed budget of the Department of the Interior and Local Government, or DILG, BFP Chief Louis Poracan explained they requested 45 million pesos to purchase over 2,000 firearms. However, this was thumbed down by the Department of Budget and Management, or DBM, due to lack of funds. The BFP chief said they have requested a DBM to allow them to use the portion of their savings from the fire truck purchases.
Paano kayo nagkaroon ng savings from fire trucks considering na kulang nga yung pondo natin to procure fire trucks?
Your Honor, out of the ABC of the project for the procurement of fire trucks, the bidders, their bid is below the ABC, and therefore we have a savings of 94 million.
The BFP modernization law that was signed in 2021 authorized the BFP to establish a Security and Protection Unit, or SPU, composed of over 2,000 fire officers across the country and purchase equipment to protect firefighters in responding to emergencies. However, Senate Minority Leader Coco Pimentel and Senator Nancy Binay believe it would be better to use the savings to buy additional fire trucks instead of firearms. According to the Fire Bureau, one fire truck unit costs 15 million pesos.
I'm saddened with the idea to use savings from fire trucks to buy firearms. So the policy question is 3 more fire trucks or 2,000 plus firearms. Okay. So I think for the Bureau of Fire Protection, that should be a no-brainer because you know what you are supposed to do.
Baka mas maigi nga na pambili na lang to ng fire trucks kesa dun sa barel. Kasi kung may magandang coordination naman yung PNP tsaka yung Bureau of Fire, yung PNP can provide the security for our fire personnel during pag may mga sunog tayo.
The BFP plans to buy 41 more fire trucks next year, in addition to its current fleet of 2,700 fire trucks. It has yet to reach its 1:28,000 ideal fire truck to population ratio.
Most of the fire trucks now, around 400 is 40 years old and above. Nire-reflect muna natin, sir, yung mga first and second class municipalities dahil sa population density. Only 2 out of 10 goes to the fire station, to the municipalities without fire stations.
Senator J.V. Ejercito also called on the Fire Bureau to prioritize areas with no fire stations. This as Poracan reveals that 203 municipalities in the country have no fire stations up to this day. The BFP, which is an attached agency of the DILG, proposes a 26.7 billion peso budget for next year. Jorlene Delgado, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God. The Health Department urges the public to get booster shot before visiting cemeteries for Undas. Health experts also emphasize wearing proper face masks and participating in the event. Asher Kadapan Jr. tells us why.
Several people, including families and relatives, traditionally gather in cemeteries during Undas to visit the grave of their deceased loved ones. But such mass gathering may become a super spreader event, especially if health protocols will not be observed. The Department of Health explains this as it encourages people who will participate in the event to protect themselves as COVID-19 is still around.
Kahit po tayo nasa labas ng ating mga bahay, this is an outdoor event, kailangan po nakamask tayo dyan kasi hindi po yan low risk na setting. Dahil marami pong taong pupunta dyan, magsisiksikan, kailangan may protection kayo.
Based on the executive order on the voluntary wearing of face mask in outdoor settings, optional use of face mask is only allowed in open spaces and non-crowded outdoor areas with good ventilation. Infectious disease expert Dr. Ron Jean Solante reaffirms that breakthrough infections may still happen if people are inoculated only with a primary series of COVID-19 vaccines. With this, he encourages the use of proper face masks, especially in crowded areas like in cemeteries during Undas.
Dito natin makukuha ang benepisyo ng pagsusuot ng tamang face mask. So as much as possible, magsusuot tayo ng face mask. Kung meron tayong face mask na available na KN95 or surgical mask, dapat dublihin ang surgical mask at isusuot yan. Huwag magtanggalan.
Asher Kadapan Jr., UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Prices of unmilled rice or palay in Nueva Ecija has fallen below production cost after the onslaught of Super Typhoon Karding. Ray Pelayo reports why.
Palay prices in Nueva Ecija are only 11 to 12 pesos per kilogram. A palay buyer says they only match the price to the quality of palay sold by the farmers.
Pag po kasi yung giniling o ginawang bigas, hindi rin po maganda yung kalidad noon. Hindi po siya nabipiling mahal. Kaya po yun, kapag kapalay, mababa yung kanyang presyo. Kasi po, pag binenta nyo yun ng bigas, hindi rin po siya pwedeng taasan.
DA said earlier this year that the cost of palay production per kilogram is now around 15 pesos due to an increase in farming inputs like fertilizer and fuel. The Department of Agriculture reported that they have given cooperatives trading capital grant that can be used to buy farmers' produce at a higher price.
Alam naman po natin na may level po na break even. But we don't want that break even. We want them to make an income. So those are the things that we are looking into and find ways para yung buyers po maganda ang presyo ng bili sa ating mga magsasaka.
The agency is also ready to distribute other assistance such as free seeds and no-interest loans to help farmers to recover from the effects of Super Typhoon Karding. DA will also explore the effect of the tropical cyclone on the country's total rice production. Ray Pelayo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
The Disaster Mitigation Agency of the government encourages the public to get prepared for possible destructive typhoons that could hit the country. Ray Pelayo will tell us why.
One of the sad things that Super Typhoon Karding left behind in Gapan City, Nueva Ecija was the washed-out residential areas. According to the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council, the time has come to take advantage of the chance to rebuild or strengthen structures in anticipation of future destructive storms.
Yung sarili nating bahay ay dapat ihandaan din natin na kumbaga let's try to build houses that are resilient, no, sa mga bagyo. Simple things na i-reinforce yung bubong, no, para hindi liparin.
Pag-asa reported that the Northeast monsoon or amihan season is about to begin this month. The existence of the La Nina phenomenon means that you can expect colder and wetter days.
Sa ngayon, ang driver natin ngayong season na to, inaasahan natin ang La Nina kung saan maaaring maging above normal ang rainfall sa ating bansa.
According to Pag-asa, the probability of a typhoon landfall scenario is higher in the most recent quarter of the year. Around 5 to 7 tropical cyclones may land in the Philippine area of responsibility.
Maari nga po sa ngayon maglandfall yung ating mga bagyo dahil nga po yung mga high pressure sa itaas po ng Pilipinas ay doon po, kung mapapansin po natin, dumadami po sila and natutulak niya po pababa yung ating mga bagyo.
The NDRRMC will continue to monitor the situation and offer services like timely text messaging with early warnings like they did when Karding hit the nation. Ray Pelayo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
U.S. President Joe Biden has announced a pardon to all federal convictions involving simple marijuana possessions. Cherise Longbowen will tell us why live. Cherise?
Good evening, LC. Following Biden's presidential campaign pledge, the U.S. president announced on Thursday that all prior federal offenses of simple marijuana possession will be pardoned as part of the administration's 3 steps towards decriminalizing marijuana in the U.S. In his announcement, Biden also encouraged state governors to consider giving pardon to state offenses in which only 19 states have fully legalized the use of marijuana so far.
I'm announcing a pardon for all prior federal offenses for the simple possession of marijuana. There are thousands of people who are convicted for marijuana possession who may be denied employment, housing, or educational opportunities as a result of that conviction. My pardon will remove this burden on them.
Those who will be pardoned will receive a certificate officially forgiving them for their crime. No Americans are currently serving time in prison due to marijuana possession, but around 6,500 had been charged of the crime. The Department of Health and Human Services, as well as the U.S. Attorney General, will also reconsider marijuana's schedule under federal law, which could lead to a change in how marijuana is classified as a drug. Biden emphasized that while regulations may change, it is still important to limit trafficking, marketing, and underage sales of marijuana. Back to you, Elsie.
Thank you, Cherise Longbowen, for that live report. British Prime Minister Liz Truss joined the EU and non-EU leaders in Prague for a big summit on Ukraine war and other issues. The summit, championed by French President Emmanuel Macron, was billed as a European political community. From London, United Kingdom, here's Anna Lima to tell us the details live. Anna?
LC, UK Prime Minister Liz Truss attended a historic first meeting of new political Forum of Nations in Prague to possibly build a common strategy on Russia's war in Ukraine. The summit brought together 40 countries with the aim to discuss common concerns, with a particular focus in Ukraine, and ultimately to send a message of unity. Aside from the leaders of the 27-nation EU bloc, Turkey, Norway, and the Balkans also attended the meeting. However, no decisions were taken at the summit. Prior to the meeting, Truss had clarified that her presence was not an EU construct or an EU alternative. Truss also stated that it is not about moving closer to Europe, but working together to deal with migration, rising inflation, and rising energy costs, issues being faced by many of the neighboring countries. Despite her statement, Truss's presence in the meeting gave hope to some that it would mark a new phase for the UK's relations with Europe, after having left the EU after Brexit. Elsie?
Thank you. Anna Lima reporting live from London, United Kingdom. The World Health Organization has issued a global notice on 4 cough syrups, warning that they may be related to the deaths of 16 children in the Gambia. According to the WHO, the syrups have been possibly connected to acute renal damage and 66 infant fatalities. The drugs were made by an Indian business, Maiden Pharmaceuticals, which failed to offer guarantees regarding their safety. According to the WHO, the company has not yet responded. The number of individuals diagnosed with or dying from liver cancer will rise by more than 55% by 2040, unless more is done to combat the largely avoidable illness. Marvi Delphine explains why. Marvi?
LC, according to an analysis from the International Agency for Research on Cancer, back in 2020, over 900,000 liver cancer diagnoses and over 800,000 deaths from the disease have been recorded. With the current global rate, experts predict that diagnoses or deaths per year will equate to 500,000 cases, meaning by 2040, they have predicted that 1.4 million will be diagnosed and will also result to 1.3 million deaths. This unless more will be done to fight the cancer, according to the researchers. In order to prevent the severity of the cancer rates, co-author of the study, Isabel Juer-Tomataram, listed major risk factors contributing to the disease: hepatitis B virus, hepatitis C virus, alcohol consumption, excess body weight, and metabolic condition like type 2 diabetes. Liver cancer remains at the top 3 cancer-causing deaths in over 40 countries, with diagnosis and mortality rates highest in East and Southeast Asia. Elsie?
Thank you, Marvi Delphine, for that report. To entice tourists back, Hong Kong is giving away 500,000 air tickets, while Virgin Atlantic will stop offering flights between London and Hong Kong. Jane Robles will tell us why live. Yes, Jane?
Elsie, few days after Hong Kong government announced that travelers will no longer be required to undergo hotel quarantine or show negative COVID-19 test, the country announced the plans to give away 500,000 plane tickets worth $254.8 million to boost tourism. Hong Kong is one of the countries in the world that has the strictest COVID-19 rules and regulations due to adherence to China's zero COVID policy. Now that the government has rolled back several COVID-19 restrictions, it gives opportunity to travelers to come in and out of the country with ease. Dane Cheng, executive director of the Hong Kong Tourism Board, said the airport will finalize the arrangement with airline companies, and once all COVID-19 restrictions are lifted, campaigns for free air ticket will commence. Meanwhile, British airline Virgin Atlantic said it will cease flights between Hong Kong and London after 3 decades of operation due to issues related to ongoing Ukraine war. The British Airlines said that significant operational complexities because of Russian airspace closure have contributed to the decision not to continue flights as planned. The airline is apologizing to their loyal customers for the disappointment that have caused. and added that anyone who booked a flight from March next year will be offered a refund, voucher, or option to rebook to other Virgin Atlantic route. Back to you, Elsie.
Thank you for that report, Jane Robles. And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. I am Elsie Marcos, live from Auckland, New Zealand. Good evening.
A group of teachers commented on confusion in the Department of Education's regulations requiring COVID-19 exposed teachers to still teach in classrooms. But DepEd quickly clarified the issue. Janice and Henta reports why.
The Department of Education made it clear that teachers in public schools who have COVID-19 symptoms or are exposed to close contacts with COVID-19 positive individuals are permitted to use paid sick leave or excused absences. This following the confusion around the department's policies on healthcare and reports that teachers were allegedly required to teach in classrooms while being exposed to people who tested positive for COVID-19.
Yan yung latest health guidelines po natin. Ayon po doon, pag ang teacher po ay positive for COVID, may simptomas, or close contact na kailangan mag-isolate, sila po ay makakapag-avail ng excuse absence. Ano pong ibig sabihin ng excuse absence? Yan po ay absence pero may bayad po sila. So they will be paid their salaries.
POA said that the maximum amount of paid leave that may be taken would be in accordance with the provisions of the Civil Service Commission No. 2 Series of 2022.
Ito po na excuse absence na nakasaad sa ating DepEd Order No. 39 ay ayon naman po, ang basis po niyan ay CSC Memorandum Circular No. 2 Series of 2022. Because our teachers are civil servants, they're under the civil service, so as to their rules in terms of excuse absences and alike, sumusunod po tayo sa CSC dahil sila yung may mandato ukol dyan.
The Department Order 39 also allows for the optional use of face mask in outdoor settings in accordance with the current national policy and mandates hand-washing facilities in schools along with group hand-washing activities among students to prevent COVID-19 infection. Janice and Henta, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, or PHIVOLCS, has raised the status of Mayon volcano to alert level 2 due to the increasing unrest in the volcano's activities. Based on the monitoring of PHIVOLCS, Mayon volcano's lava dome increased in volume since August 20. An ocular inspection was also conducted, confirming freshly extruded lava at the base of the summit lava dome. The public is strongly advised to remain vigilant and desist from entering the 6-kilometer radius permanent danger zone to minimize risk from sudden explosions, rockfall, and landslides. In case of ash falls, the public is also advised to wear dust masks or cover their nose and mouth with damp, clean cloth.
Filipinos were overjoyed to see the colors of the Philippine national flag lighting up major city establishments in Los Angeles, USA as part of the Filipino American History Month. Meanwhile, the iconic Wish USA bus became one of the night's highlights. Kaf Dumaraos has the story.
The Filipino community in Los Angeles, California, USA felt represented in the city after the lighting of some major city buildings with the national color of the Philippines. The event was even unique because the iconic Wish USA bus became part of this historic milestone as it became the backdrop in the lighting of the City Hall's facade with the flag's colors.
I feel like
the government getting involved with the Philippines like this, with Filipinos, nakaka-proud talaga. It's showing that they really are recognizing our hard work.
We are part of the economy of this city, this state even, and we contribute in so many ways, through the arts, through food, through behind the scenes. So it's really, really important, especially for the youth, to see as early as now that we are being represented and that the city has our back.
Besides the City Hall, a number of major establishments were lit with the national flag's colors, such as the Los Angeles International Airport.
Tonight we make history. We make history when we light up this beautiful City Hall. It was built nearly 100 years ago with the hopes and aspirations.
Meanwhile, Filipino comedian Jokoy, who is one of the night's honorary award recipients, was proud to receive such an accolade.
Don't feel represented, and this will be that stepping stone. I love this month. I love this month. I'm a little biased, of course, but it's just fun to actually see all of us here smiling and feel proud and feel recognized. And yeah, that's what I just want. More of this.
According to Los Angeles Mayor Garcetti, a united Filipino community focused in good intentions can bring forth big accomplishments such as the establishment of the historic Filipino town in the city. Through the Filipino-American History Celebration, the American community acknowledges the importance of representation and appreciates the contributions of the Filipinos to the U.S. economy. Kat Maraos, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Our kasangbahay, as the world faces these trying times amid the pandemic caused by coronavirus, we are inviting everyone to join the global prayer for humanity.
Good day. I'm Brother Eli Soriano of the members of the Church of God International. I want to invite you to join us in a minute of prayer every day to pray for humanity and the whole world as we go through these perilous times. While safety measures like washing of hands and strengthening of our immune systems may help us through this horrible predicament, there is still no precaution or cure more powerful than God's mighty intervention. And we need His intervention now more than ever. It doesn't matter what religion you are in or what denomination you belong. This is an invitation for all the people around the world who cares for the future of their family, friends, loved ones, and humanity as a whole. Everybody is welcome to pray with us. For more details, you can check out the description box below. Thank you very much, and I hope to hear from you soon. May God bless you.
Before we close, we will leave you with a word, giving glory to God. From the book of Colossians, chapter 3, verse 8, it says, "But now ye also put off all these, anger, wrath, malice, blasphemy, filthy communication out of your mouth." Reasons behind the news, October 7, 2022. Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I am Harleen Delgado.
And because we need to know, we will always ask why. I am William Theo. We serve the people. We give glory to God.